Hello and welcome to another episode of the Dumb and Dumbest Podcast. I'm Matt Bacon with my beautiful co-host Curtis Dewar, and this is a music industry podcast where everything is terrible and the house is on fire.
Ooh,
Ooh is indeed correct.
yes.
Today, we are talking about...
We're talking about Matt's cat.
We're not talking about my cat. We're talking
about
about
how to have a nice, presentable Bandcamp, or how to make it presentable, I guess.
Yeah, because you have to appreciate that. So here's sort of the thing, is like you want to own your URL, right? To avoid cyber squatting, I used to work at a record label that was kind of a scam, and someone who was scammed by them bought their URL or owned their URL or something, and like just turned it into like this label is a scam page, and it's still like the top result when you search for that label.
Yep. Who's that?
True Groove Records. I don't mind saying it. It's kind of a cult. Don't join up.
Okay.
Point being, like so you want to own your URL, but you can have your URL point to your Bandcamp. And if you do that, guess what? Your Bandcamp is basically your website. And just as 10 years ago, everyone told you, oh, your website needs to look fucking banging if you want people to give a shit. Well, now your fucking Bandcamp needs to look banging if you want people to give a shit. This isn't fucking Reverb Nation. And by the way, this is going to be taken much more seriously over a much longer term than Reverb Nation. I'm pretty sure Bandcamp has already been around longer than Reverb Nation ever was. It might even be older than Reverb Nation.
You might be right on that. I don't know if that's correct, but
like for the record, if you send me a Reverb Nation link, I will laugh at you.
Same here. And people do still send me those links.
Bandcamp was formed in 2008. Reverb Nation was formed in 2006.
Around the same time period then.
Point being, but also like look at it this way. Bandcamp
I can't believe Reverb Nation's only 2 years younger than Bandcamp. That's insane.
2 years older.
That's what I meant. 2 years older. They seem like a decade apart technologically.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Bandcamp, it has an Alexa rank of 532. That's really, really good.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Reverb Nation has an Alexa rank of like 10,641.
I thought it'd be higher than that. Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So don't don't get caught up in the Reverb Nation thing. I know what they tried to do. The dream is dead. Forget the dream.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So point being, your Bandcamp in many cases is your website. If I'm trying to find your band, and I think this is your case too, Curtis, I will probably, if I'm trying to find out about your band and I can't like immediately find your Facebook, where you should have a ton of information available. If I can't find your Facebook, then I'm probably going to look and Google your band Bandcamp. And there's people who don't even care about the Facebook thing because they don't like social media for whatever reason. And those people just Google your band Bandcamp. So, just realize this is number one, number two place people go to find out about bands.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, well, like, shit, dog.
Yeah.
What do you have?
One thing I don't like about Bandcamp, I'm just going to put it out there right now. I'm just as kind of like an offside thing. I don't like how they have a time period for when you can start to do pre-orders. I think that part's stupid.
Sure.
So I was going to mention, even if you do have a Bandcamp, you should also have something else as well. So that way you can do pre-orders earlier if you want to. But Bandcamp is the main thing that people are most likely going to be buying from. And the reason why is because you can sample tracks that people are lazy. They have the shipping already built in. You can see right when you click the button how much the shipping is going to be, and it's really, really easy to do. So what would you say are some of the key things?
And I just want to point out a final thing.
What's that?
Like, I've seen this a couple times recently where people say like, oh, Bandcamp is like for amateurs.
Yeah.
Fucking listen, dick. Bandcamp is probably, like, huge bands use Bandcamp. Every good band of the last 10 years has used Bandcamp in pretty much any genre.
Yeah.
So, like, get your head out of your ass and join the modern age with the fucking rest of us, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the other thing too is even if you do feel that Bandcamp's for amateurs, you can still make sales off of it, and everyone else has a Bandcamp presence, so you should.
Exactly.
So I don't know who thinks it's for amateurs nowadays, but
yeah.
maybe
Point being.
maybe a few years ago. But
anyway, what were you saying now, Curtis? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so what would you say some of the key points you got to have on your Bandcamp are? Like, obviously, you got to have a band picture, you got to have a bio. Like, what would you say are the key things?
Well, Curtis, thank you for your question. Just give me a second. I'm fucking with my mic. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay, well, you're doing that. I want to point out one thing is you should have your bio and your album credits on your Bandcamp. Reason why is because sometimes journalists like to double check there and on Metal Archives as well, just to make sure everything matches up. Because sometimes what will happen is there might be a mistake in the press release that was sent. Like I've had it before where the band has given me like a wrong band lineup, like with spelling mistakes and stuff. And I don't know because I don't know the band's members' actual names. I just have to go by what they give me, right? So, you know, it might be spelt as, you know, KRISREAD, but really it's CHRISRAED or something, right? So, you know, it kind of serves as like a second set of eyes for people to correct things, and also helps for just for giving something interesting about your band if you have a actual band bio there. Sorry, apparently I can't talk today because I keep stuttering.
Yeah. And so this sort of ties into the other thing that I was trying to talk about earlier is essentially the idea that, like, if you are out there as, you know, if you're out there as a band and you're trying to set up your Bandcamp, one of the greatest functionalities of Bandcamp is the store.
Yeah.
Because the store actually looks good and it's easy to put together. And unlike Big Cartel, which is a separate platform, like Big Cartel is useful for bands, and I definitely see like a reason to have a Big Cartel, but it's a separate platform, you know. So like the amount of like anytime you need to take an extra click is another fucking anytime you need to take an extra click, you're gonna lose like half your fucking people.
I agree. I have a quick question.
So yeah, go ahead. No, shoot.
Well, one quick question I have, because I saw this debate the other day on Twitter. Are you pro or con bands limiting the number of streams that you can do for free on Bandcamp?
I think it depends on the band.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the demand for you and the behavior of your fans.
Okay, so you're not like pro like right away putting a song limit, because like with me, I was thinking that if you put a song limit on Bandcamp, if you have everything on Spotify, that might make sense.
Sure.
But I was curious to hear your actual thoughts.
I'm curious to see Bandcamp evolve it as time goes on. I think like doing a bump after you spend something 3 times makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that if you're an unknown band, maybe who doesn't even have their music on Spotify, then definitely make it in unlimited streams.
I agree with that.
You know,
I'm just wondering about if you think that it would actually help for Spotify plays if you did that or no.
I don't really think it would, because I think that Bandcamp is it's the so some people are married to that platform, and a lot of people like our friend Bucky Brown, and some people are just going to people like Bucky Brown are married to the platform, and that's also like, honestly, I'm much more likely to buy from someone's Bandcamp than I am to buy from their like label page or whatever. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, there are a lot of people like that. Lots of people do love the platform. Yeah.
You know, so but you have to take full advantage of it, because there's a lot of potential advantages to it if you do it right. You know, a lot of people don't do it right and end up fucking themselves over.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, good for you, I guess. But what was the point of that whole thing?
I agree. And one other thing. Now, do you want to go over pricing right now or no?
Yeah, sure. This can be a part of it. Sure.
Okay. So,
but before we get into pricing, I just want to say real fast, also make sure your Bandcamp aesthetically looks good.
Yeah.
You know, I think that a lot of people don't, their Bandcamps are just ugly, in my opinion.
Like mine.
And, you know, and like, that's your web front. If your web front is ugly, Why would anyone buy from you?
Do not look at the dewarpr Bandcamp as an example of the right way to do Bandcamp. Just FYI.
Terrible, Curtis. You need to
awful.
go correct that. You need to go.
I do for sure. I'm just pointing out right now before anybody else points it out for me. My Bandcamp looks terrible.
Absolutely. I didn't even know you had a Bandcamp.
I do for my compilations, but yeah. Anyways, they suck. They suck ass.
Point being.
But anyways, pricing. So now, are you a believer on under $5 pricing for digital downloads, or how do you feel pricing should be done now?
I think a lot of it should be. I think it should, as much as possible, should be pay what you will.
Okay.
But also, but have it so that if they download for free, they have to give you their email.
Bingo.
That's really the key in my experience. Is if you collect the email, you've won the battle.
A lot of bands won't even do that and don't even think to set it up. They'll do name your price and then they won't even fucking do anything to even get the email. It's amazing.
And name your price is just the best way to do it at the end of the day.
Well, especially if you can collect the mailing list out of the deal, it's a great idea. Like I know that's what Coil Guns were doing, and he got it was a huge list, just massive. I couldn't believe it when he told me.
Exactly. I think Windhand did that early in their career, and we've seen that pay off dividends for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. As long as you can keep it going. But okay, so now let's say a person doesn't want to pay what they want. What would you suggest to be the price for a download?
For a digital download, $5 or less. For for vinyl, just whatever you charge at merch, and then charge reasonable shipping. And then I honestly, low-key hack, add $2 to cover for the Bandcamp fee.
Give me that again. Do what?
So if shipping on your record is $5, charge $7, and those $7 aren't going to be billed by Bandcamp, so you can use those to cover the Bandcamp fee. Oh, it's like a psychological pricing hack.
I never even would have thought of something like that. Now, I know a lot of bands also undercharge on the shipping. Now, how can you, as someone who has dealt with this in the past, I believe you have at least, how do you get over the potentiality of under quoting shipping and digging yourself into a hole?
Literally, just pack up one record as you plan on packing your records. And I encourage you to invest some money in having a quality product going on. Quality packing, so people don't bitch about your stuff getting broken or about their stuff getting broken, and then Jesus Christ, Curtis, don't die over there.
I'm doing my best.
Have another cigarette. It'll make you feel better.
I don't smoke, dude.
It was a joke. Point being, so
packaging.
Have good packaging. So put it all together, weigh it on whatever scale you use to weigh your drugs, or a cooking scale. When I first did this, it was the scale I was using to weigh weed. So so you load your shit, right? You put that together, and fucking guess what?
What?
You can go on the fucking U.S. Post Office website or any number of other tools online, and they will tell you precisely how much it will cost under different forms of shipping.
And you should also be checking for Europe and for Australia and for Canada too, because a lot of people fuck up themselves over with that as well.
Yes, international shipping is a lot more than you think it is.
Yeah, and if you're ever in doubt, you should charge a bit more, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, people especially Bandcamp is interesting to me because it has a very savvy buyer base.
Yeah.
If you're listening to stuff on Bandcamp, you're obviously at least somewhat plugged in with the underground community.
Yeah.
So those people are going to be able to know, oh, they just don't want to lose money on shipping. Because I know a ton of people who've completely lost their asses shipping stuff.
Me too. So you got to be extremely careful about that, and never try to price it low. Go high just to be on the safe side. And if you're worried about missing sales, be more worried about losing $10 to $20 a freaking album. There was someone that happened to a number of years ago. I can't remember who it was. They told me that they ran $100 into debt just from selling their album.
Yeah, it happens a lot, especially with international shipping.
That was the problem. Yeah, they were getting all these orders from I think it was the UK or something. And I was just they were just they put some stupid price on there and people were refusing to pay, and they just stupidly decided to honor it. Okay.
Yeah. And that's that's where you gotta kind of figure it out, be willing to honor it if you have the money, but let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going $500 in the hole to sell your own to ship your albums, rather, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah,
Something's severely wrong with that.
There's some questions that should be raised.
Exactly. Now, in addition to that, for Bandcamp, now, are you a believer in sending Bandcamp download codes for reviewers, yay or nay? And I want to give my response once you're done.
Not really, just because I think that downloads are a dead format, and I'm not really in, like, for me and for my reviewer friends who I talk frankly about with these things, most of us, like, I don't even know what I would play a downloaded music file on, like Windows Media Player, I guess. I don't fucking know. Like,
pretty much what there is, yeah.
Like, otherwise I listen to music on Holics.
Yeah.
And I listen to music on Spotify.
Yeah.
Because like,
I agree. I don't like sending out Bandcamp downloads. I think it's kind of a little bit cheesy to give that to people.
Well, it's not even that it's cheesy. It's just like, if someone asks you for a Bandcamp download, then by all means send them a Bandcamp download. That's what they asked for.
Yeah, the Doom Charts, I think, is the only ones that like that.
Yeah,
that I'm aware of. But.
Some people are very much into that world.
Yeah,
that's okay. Some of us are not, and that's also okay. So like, remember that, like, this person is doing you a favor, and you being persnickety about how you want to give it to them, unless it's part of like a larger overall presentation. You're going to look like a jackass. Like, if you're like one of the Prophecy bands who's like super artsy and it's like, okay, well, we want you to listen in this circumstance with yada, 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 yada. Then like, okay, good for you. That makes sense because it's part of an overarching thing, and that's totally fine. But if it's just because it's easier for you this way, why do I give a shit what's easier for you? You know what I mean? Like straight up, why do I give a shit about what's easier for you?
Exactly.
When I'm the one doing the favor.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Okay, any other quick tips?
Because I just want to circle back, just finish this up, because even if you're like a huge band, or on a huge label, I'm going to be able to hear your music in a couple weeks anyway. And you know what I mean? For free.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem like a complicated formula to me.
Not at all. Okay, do we got any other quick tips we want to go over with Bandcamp? We've covered most of them.
Honestly, just look at like Bandcamps of bands affiliated with some of your favorite labels.
Mm-hmm.
See how they present themselves. See how, see where everything gets put together, how everything gets put together, and then just emulate that. It's Bandcamp is pretty easily customizable. The hardest part, honestly, is probably getting images that fit their sometimes weird specifications.
I hate the freaking image thing, but yeah.
But like, once you do that, you're basically gold.
Yeah. But it's very now. What about last question? Bandcamp Pro, yay or nay?
Yay if you've got a lot of releases. If you're one of those very Bandcamp centric artists, if you're trying to run a label, or if you've got like 4 different bands you're in and you just want to make it easier on yourself. But I don't see Bandcamp Pro, and they don't try to position it otherwise. Bandcamp Pro isn't really for like dude in like a random band.
I agree.
It's for people who are fucking deep in it because they've got 5 releases coming out this year.
Yeah.
At minimum, and it's a whole fucking situation.
Yeah.
That's my stance. I think it's cool, but I don't think you really, like, when you need it, you'll know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, that was our Bandcamp episode. Now we'll never have to talk about Bandcamp ever again.
Never, ever.
So, Mr. Curtis Dewar.
Yes.
What do you have to plug?
Well, I have 2 streams out today. One is from Space
Yesterday.
Coke. Sorry, yesterday. One is from Space Coke, who are streaming their new album over at Doomed and Stoned. It's really, 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 really cool. Go check it out. And I got another Spanish grind. How can you be a Spanish grind?
I was going to say,
yeah,
Spanish is not a genre. Well, I mean, Spanish, I guess, is a genre, but not in this case.
No, I'm losing it. A Spanish grind band called Ernia, streaming over at the Toilet of Hell, their self-titled new album. That is also really, really cool. Go check it out. And I think that's the only streams I got for today. I'll have to go over the other ones tomorrow. That's it.
There you go. Okay, so what do I have coming out?
Awesomeness.
Lots of awesomeness. I'm going to be setting up a similar ebook situation to Curtis to help push things beyond my 50, 60 page ebooks, which are for more serious people trying to get very, very deep and granular.
Very deep. Very deep.
Very deep.
Deep.
Granular. And again, like, these are really just kind of built off of my analysis papers that I've been selling to bands lately. That for, $150, $25 off if you're listening to the podcast, I will give you a 7,000 word breakdown of your band, where you're at.
I thought you said 7,000 pages.
I almost said 7,000 pages.
That would have been insane.
I'd be charging more than $150 for that.
You'd be writing that for a fucking couple of weeks is what you'd be doing nonstop.
Probably take me more than a couple of weeks to write 7,000 pages. But anyway.
Yeah, true enough.
Point being, irregardless, my ebooks that I have now are very granular and hugely valuable. I've got some more stuff coming out, and join the mailing list. I shoot you all kinds of cool offers and let you know about whatever cool shit I have to deliver to bring you value.
It's just like being on Ty Lopez's list, just with Matt Bacon instead of Ty.
Yeah, and I don't have. I mean, like, I have a cool apartment, but I'm not like.
You do, but you also don't start talking about gibberish psychological terms like him either. So there's that going for you as well.
Oh, should I be talking
the medulla oblongata and how it affects your ability to market?
Medulla oblongata.
I don't know how you say it. Whatever, you know what I'm talking about, though.
Okay, Curtis. So while Curtis is over here being a fucking super dweeb, not understanding Ty Lopez, I wanted to thank you guys for spending the time to listen, to ask questions. If you have any questions you want directly answered on the podcast, we will answer them and either shout out your band or make fun of you.
One of the two.
Odds are, if you're the kind of person who is going to ask questions, you probably have something smart to say, and so we probably won't make fun of you. But never know. Don't want to make any promises.
That's true. We don't.
Point being, thank you for listening. This has been Dumb and Dumbest.
Are we done yet?
Fucking hell.